Thank you for tuning in, folks. This is the Ready Talk Boxing Show, the Double RT Boxing Show with your host, Mr.A. Thank you for your time and support. New viewers, hope I get your subscription because you are entertained after this show. Get a thumbs up. You know, for the subscribers, you already know what I do on the show. But you new viewers, this is a quick episode of the Double RT Boxing Show. But I also do segments of the show, like Mr. A's Thoughts, where I give a personal opinion on the subject. I do a breakdown and predictions, which you see a lot of. I do more of that. And I do post-fight recaps. So I do those type of 3 segments, and along with this, the actual show. Now, today's show, we're talking mandate fights. We're talking Wilder and Breazeale, Whyte, Pulev, and Ortiz. You got Porter, Garcia, Easter Jr., and then the clicker right here. Now, Caleb Plant and Rocky Fielding by the IBF. And you got Hurd and Lara, 2. Now we're going to get into some of those right now. We start off with a nice little simple one. Porter and Garcia. Not too thrilled about it. I'm not too thrilled about that fight. Let me re-clear myself. I'm thrilled about the fight. I just wish it wasn't for the WBC title. Keith Thurman vacated it due to his injuries not healing fast enough. It just what have Porter and Danny Garcia really done to get that 1 and 2 spot? After they lost to Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia fought Brandon Rios. Sean Porter fought Andre Berto. Okay, he's coming off the Mayweather, so he still has some Mayweather fumes on him. So, he beat a Mayweather opponent, but he did stop him. So, we give him some credit on that. He did stop Berto. And then he beat Adrian Granados, though. So after a nice stoppage of Andre Berto, they're like, oh, okay, Sean Porter's on the right track. What's he gonna do? He brings up a 140. Fights Adrian Granados at 147 when he just fought Broner at 144. And he went tooth and nail with Granados. Granados, everyone's always thinking, Porter is the beast. He bullies people. Granados showed, man. He took it to Sean Porter. So I'm not thrilled that they got that 1 and 2 spot. I think at least Danny Garcia should be like number 3. I'm not gonna look at the rankings right now to say who should be in there, but someone there's other persons who should be at least get the shot. You know what? Let's look at the rankings. Why not? I'm not gonna sit here and talk like who should get it and then not say who's in it. The rankings are. We got, like I said, you got number 1 is Garcia. Number 1 is Garcia because I know they switched between Porter and Garcia. And then you see right here, as of April 24th, the WBC is updated. Jesse Vargas was number 3. He could have now checked this out. This is interesting. If you've been following my show, you know who my dark horse in the welterweight is. He's number 4. I would have loved to see him slide into a number 2 spot because I know everyone would have been like, "Who is this bum? Who is that?" I've been talking about this guy not only during season 1, but even last year during the pilot season of the Double RT Boxing Show. Number 4 for the WBC is Quatrillo Abu Quat. It's a hard ass last name, folks. Abdu Quadrelv. Hard ass last name. But Quatrillo, the Punisher, He was the silent assassin. He's always changing his names. He's number 4, so he's getting up there, folks. And considering Jesse Vargas just fought Broner with a draw, my man Quatrillo might get up in there. Oh, he might get his shot soon, folks. Sorry to go off topic, but he's my dark horse, man. If it wasn't for his little skinny frame and size, I'd give him a run against Spence. Because he fights. I don't think he'd be as scared. He might get knocked the hell out against Spence, but he'll fight. Up and down body shots. I don't want to get off track on my boy. Back to Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia. It would have been nice to see maybe Jesse Vargas or him get one of those 2 or 3 spots. I just don't feel Danny Garcia and Porter deserve to be number 1 and 2 after that weak competition they fought after their championship loss. They didn't hold no mustard to their name. Now, the fight itself is a good fight. Like I said, it's a difference between what I feel their spots are and the actual fight. The fight is a great fight. I wish it wouldn't have been for the belt. It would have been nice to see the big names actually fight each other up. These guys are getting there without fighting any ranked fighters. Like I said, for instance, you got number, where's Bradley Skeet at, my boy at? You got Bradley Skeet number 11 and number 14 fighting this weekend. There's so many other people out here fighting in the ranks. I get it. The bottom half, they usually fight it, but the top half they don't fight. They don't fight the rankings. And Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia, they never fought any ranked competition, and it's kind of disappointing that they got the number 1 and 2 spot like that. Maybe Berto was ranked bottom off the Floyd Mayweather floor. I think he was like number 9 when Berto fought him, so I could be wrong on that one. But you guys get the gist of what I'm saying. Now, the fight itself, you got Porter rushing in. His high pressure. He's getting better at working behind the jab. And then you got the nice timing. I believe Danny Garcia got a pretty good ring generalship. And then his hellified, great timing of those hooks. So to me, I think it's going to be who controls the fight better with a jab. Because they're both going to come in swinging hooks. You're going to have Porter. Danny bleeds pretty good, so don't be surprised if a headbutt is a big factor in that fight. So who's going to control that fight with the hooks? With the jab, I think Danny's going to have to control Porter's pressure with a jab. And then, as we saw with Adrian Broner, a well-timed hook could do some damage against Shawn Porter, and it's a worldwide known fact. Danny Garcia got some well-timed hooks. So that's going to be a nice little interesting fight right there. Battle of the jab. And then we move on to Lara and Hurd2. A little torn on this one, folks. A little torn. Now, I'm very open about it on this show. Lara is my favorite fighter. I had him winning against Hurd by 2 rounds. Like I said, I also had like 3 toss-up rounds, so it could have been a 114, 113. I had it 115, 112. That fight was all about, a few hard shots that Hurd landed in some of those rounds, or just overall work that Lara did in that round. And of course, the drop of Lara by Hurd won him that fight. Like I said, I didn't see much movement in my boy, so I don't know if he's that age is catching up to him and he has no more legs. But I don't see, obviously I think Hurd is going to come out with a more, like I said, we don't know if these fights are happening, but just because it got mandated don't mean the fight's happening. Remember when the WBC mandated Timothy Bradley and Errol Spence? Didn't happen. So if Hurd and Lara 2 was to happen, it's gonna be about 85% of the same fight. Maybe Lara might add some movement, but overall it's gonna be about from round 6 on the same fight. But Hurd might come on and put the pressure on a little earlier, start the body shots a little earlier. Now, I don't think Lara is gonna win that fight. You know, I don't. I would love to see him do it. You know, like I said, that is my favorite fighter. But I think Hurd, when you beat someone like that, and you know your game plan worked damn well, you're going into that fight with not a damn problem on your mind. You know, just don't get. You know, just do what you do and hope you don't get the boxing clip chin. You know, and Hurd shows that the dude could take a hellified punch. Like I said, I think it's gonna be exact about 85% of the same fight. Lara might do a little movement, whatever he can do, because he won't be able to do too much movement because he's gonna have to save that energy for the wear down of the second half, and that's what happened. You know, I believe he didn't move because he knew he's gonna need that energy for the second half. Now, he probably wished, like, okay, maybe I stood in the pocket a little too long, and that's what allowed him to get body shotted like that. He stayed in the pocket a little too long for his own liking. But like I said, I still felt he won that fight. But Hurd fucking brung it. Hurd brung it, man. So that is 2 off the table. Moving on to the next mandate one. We got Mikey Garcia. The IBF is ordering stuff, man. Like I said, they ordered Hurd and Lara 2. Now we're going to talk Garcia and Robert Easter Jr. Now, it's a good fight. It's a good fight. You know, I'm a little disappointed in it for one other reason, and that's because of the Devin Haney and Mason Maynard fight. That's for the that's for the USBA belt, and that gets you ranked in the IBF. And remember, Devin Haney's been calling out Robert Easter Jr. So I would love to see Haney get that shot and fight Robert Easter Jr. All that back and forth trash talking, I would love to see that fight. So like I said, just because the fights are mandated, don't mean they're gonna happen. But we're just talking about them. So Robert Easter Jr. and Mikey Garcia, this is gonna be a hellified fight. You know, because Robert Easter, we all know his attributes: tall, length, inside game. Mikey Garcia, he does what his opponents give him to do, you know, and he does it very well. Now, it'll be interesting because everyone says, oh, you know, Robert Easter is tall, lengthy, and all that good stuff. Everyone cracks the shit out of Robert Easter Jr. Everyone, you know, so the dude doesn't fight tall. He doesn't use his length. And I don't believe he's as good as a boxer. I don't think his IQ is as high as Mikey Garcia's. Now, it will be interesting to see if he can coax. Now, this is going to be a time where I feel Robert Easter Jr. needs to fight in the inside. All his other fights, I think he needed to use his height and reach. Against Mikey Garcia, he's going to need this to be an inside fight. He's going to need to fight like Comey and Denis Shabanov. He's going to need that type of performance against Mikey Garcia, because even when he fought Fortuna, a nice inside fight. Because I do not believe Easter could hang on the outside and keep Mikey across that gap. I think Mikey is really good at feet placement, working the gap, you know, and giving you a nice jab with a surprising right behind it. You know, he knows how to do, and when you get accustomed to that, he knows how to sneak in body shots. So it's going to be real interesting to see if Easter could coax Mikey into an inside fight and what type of inside scrapper is Mikey Garcia. Like I said, can he do an inside 10 seconds here? Can he do an inside 20 seconds here? Yeah, he can, but can he fight a whole inside fight like Robert Easter Jr. opponents have been doing? Very interesting to see what that Mikey Garcia is. So that's a nice little interesting fight. So we're knocked down. Porter Garcia, Battle of the Jabs, I believe. Hurd and Lara 2. It's going to be pretty much the same thing. Laura's going to have to avoid that body shot if you don't want that loss again. Do something. Don't stay in the pocket too long. Easter Jr. versus Mikey Garcia. Can Garcia keep this outside fight and not get coaxed into an Easter inside bout? And then we move on to Wilder and breazeale. Now, a lot of people are confused on this one. A lot of people are confused. How is it that breazeale is the mandate over number 1 Dillian Whyte? And I covered this a little bit on a previous episode. I think it was like episode 13 or something. Like I said, yes, Dillian Whyte is number 1. He had more fights, so you get more points in the organization's ranking system. So he got more points than breazeale, so that's why he's number 1. Now it comes into what the organization body feels. It's just like, okay, if I'm your boss at your job, you've been there 2 years or whatever to that time you've been there. And I was like, okay, we got to write children's stories, and you're good. You're good at writing stories. And all of a sudden, they got this new guy in, but his stories got the kids like, I like his stories. It's like, why am I going to give you the job when the kids are somewhat interested? Your stories are so-so, but this new guy, his stories got the kids hooked, got them sitting there behaving properly, hands crossed, looking up, behaving, and just paying attention. And that's kind of what Dillian Whyte and Dominic Breazeale went through. Since their loss of, they both lost to Anthony Joshua. Dillian Whyte has fought what? Derek Chisora. That was for, even though he was ranked in the, you could argue like, oh, breazeale really didn't fight no one ranked in the WBC besides Molina, and you can say what you want about Molina, but we'll get to that. So Dillian Whyte fought Chisora, Robert Helenius, Michael Tan, and Lucas Brown. Now, yes, he fought Chisora, a very entertaining fight. But was it entertaining? No one showed defense. They just beat the hell out of each other. So, as an organization, you kind of judge, okay, like, yeah, it was an entertaining fight, but you really didn't look good. You guys just had no defense and beat the hell out of each other. And then you fight Robert Helenius, a lackluster performance. You fight old-ass Michael Tan, another lackluster. Yeah, you knocked him out, but, you got points for that victory, but it wasn't impressive. And then you fight Lucas Brown. You knocked his ass out too, but it wasn't a good performance. And then you take Dominic Breazeale, since his loss against the champion Anthony Joshua. He fought Nzugo. I might have messed his name up, but that was an eliminator. And those guys going back and forth, yeah, they were hitting each other, but it wasn't as sloppy as the Chisora and Whyte. They had some defense in there. Breazeale ain't the best of defensive fighter. And then after that eliminator, he fought Eric Molina, who is an opponent between two champions, and he stopped him. So you look at the competition and you look at the outcome of their fights. Dillian Whyte got his points for his fights. He had more fights, so he got more points than Dominic Breazeale. But Dominic Breazeale, like I said, his stories had more oomph to him if he was the kid writer, the story writer. You know, his fights are more memorable. So I understand, and to me, that's my opinion on why the WBC mandated Dominic Breazeale. His fights had more, what they say in baseball, had more mustard on them. You know, more mustard on the pitch. His fights had more mustard in the entertainment column. So, how will Breazeale and Wilder go? Well, first of all, you know that there's that personal outside backstory between Breazeale said something to Wilder's brother. I don't know if he knew that was Wilder's brother. You know, so I guess he was at Wilder's fight. I'm not sure if he just thought he was talking trash to a Wilder fan. Like, I'll knock him out, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it turned out to be Wilder's brother, so Wilder goes and tells. So Wilder's brother goes and tells him, like, hey, Breazeale said he'll knock you out. Or did he even know that was Wilder? Like, yeah, I'll knock your brother out. It's something along those lines. And Wilder, you know, goes up to him like, what the hell is your problem? You know, and then, of course, Wilder's boys make all this hassle. And Dominic Breazeale said, you know, the police hotel security got called. And he said Wilder and his entourage traumatized him and his family. His little boy has trouble sleeping. So it has a nice little personal beef behind it. So you got that part going for the fight. Now, how will the fight go itself? Me, Mr.A, as a Wilder fan, you know, I do like him, but I never talk on the favorable side of the people I like. It's down the middle. I feel Wilder is going to be in heavy trouble one day if the dude does not start doing more body work. Yeah, the dude has that bazooka for a right hand, but even Adonis Stevenson, who has a left bazooka, the dude has hella fight body work. You know, I think it's very underrated. And if Deontay Wilder can do some body work, you know, and I think that might be that could be a downfall when he fights AJ, the body game. AJ has a tremendous body game. Uppercuts. Now back to this topic here. If Wilder could do body game, it'll help lower his opponent's hands, be a little more what's coming. Because, and we all seen Deontay Wilder has trouble with jabs. You know, you could, you know, it takes him a while to figure out how to get inside of a jab. And Breazeale is a tall man. You know, we saw what Jarrett Washington's jab did against Wilder. We saw Luis Ortiz jab. We saw we originally saw Duhaupas that he was jabbing the shit out of Wilder. You know, crouch down jab, high jab, to the side jab. Wilder could not get past that jab until he started doing some body game and uppercuts. That's how he got Duhaupas out of there. He was trying to fight him jab for jab, and he was getting his ass whooped. You know? But when he started mixing in body game and some uppercuts, Duhaupas crumbled. But he never went back to that. You know, after fights, he never went back. So, but like I said, every time Wilder goes to a body attack, it opens shit up for him. Go back to Jarrett Washington. Washington whooping his ass. And then right before he knocks Washington down, it's like he cracks him right in the sternum. And that, it shakes Washington up, and then the downfall begins. So Wilder is going to need a body attack against Breazeale, because Breazeale could take a beating. We saw that against AJ. We see it about every fight. He's going to need a body attack pronto against Breazeale. And Breazeale that dude's going to be relentless. So how relentless is he going to be against Wilder? It's going to be real interesting, because he's a 1-2 jab. He throws uppercuts. It's going to be nice. Can skinny frame Wilder take Breazeale's body shots? That's going to be a good fight right there. Good fight. And then we move on to, what was the fifth one I did? Oh, we got Pulev and Ortiz versus Dillian Whyte. Which route does Dillian Whyte take? Two mandates. You know, this is an interesting one. This is interesting because after the Wilder fight, you know, the talks came out. Oh, Ortiz was old and blah blah blah. And Dylan Whyte was one of the heavy talkers saying that Wilder be the old man and he ain't nothing. You know, Dylan, he's 106 years old. He's 45, 48 years. Dylan Whyte was just shitting all over Ortiz's age. Well, this is your opportunity to, you know, cash that check your ass was writing. You know, if Deontay Wilder be the old man and you could fuck up Deontay Wilder, go knock out this old man out. Show Deontay Wilder didn't do nothing special. You know, you could do it too. So it's kind of funny the way karma works in that way. You know, so that will get him the WBC route. But, you know, but considering that Deontay Wilder just fought his mandatory, that fight won't have to happen until like late 2019, early 2020. Now, if he fights Pulev, Joshua hasn't did a IBF mandate since what? Takam? So that fight is gonna happen sooner than the WBC opportunity. And me personally, I do believe Pulev is a less dangerous fight than Ortiz. Ortiz shows, you know, he's still on his feet. He has movement. He has combinations, trickery, trap setting. Whereas Pulev's style is a more flat-footed, that crazy ass guard. I don't think Pulev will be able to handle a fast-paced Dylan Whyte. You know, I don't think Pulev could swing fast enough and accurate enough to handle Dylan Whyte. Whereas I think Ortiz, he could be able to punch inside that, uppercut inside that, you know, punch, you know, and say Dylan Whyte is kind of wild with his punches. So you go wild against Ortiz could knock his ass out. Pulev, like I said, he's like Ortiz towards the end of his career. Well, the age factor, you know, he's up there in age in boxing, but I think, you know, Pulev will have to keep him on the outside of the jab, and I just think Whyte would just have to pressure him and making him fight a pace that he can't handle. And then we move on to the last one. I think I covered them all. We did Dylan Whyte. We did Porter, Garcia, Hurd, Lara 2, Wilder, breazeale, Mikey Garcia, and Easter, Whyte and breazeale. Wilder and breazeale. Yeah, and I'm sorry if I missed one. You know, hopefully I didn't miss one. Now the last one. If you've been following this show since the beginning, I called for this match. I said, with the WBSS super middleweight tournament going on, it's an opportunity. One of these two guys are going to step up and take the division. And I've been saying it since January. Caleb Plant and Rocky Fielding. This is going to come down between them two. So when I saw that this fight was mandated, for you guys who know, who's been following this show, I've been talking about these two guys a lot. Nowhere else, go all over YouTube, no one else been talking about these guys except for your boy Mr.A right here on the Double RT Boxing Show. And the IBF mandated it. The winner gets Caleb Truax. The winner gets James DeGale. And both those guys have very good opportunity to beat DeGale. Very good opportunity. I actually think both those guys can beat James DeGale. Now, Rocky Fielding and Caleb Plant, god damn, that's going to be a good fight. I want to see that fight, you know. Out of all the mandates we just talked, that's the one I want to see the most. And surprisingly, I want to see Whyte and Pulev. I want to see that fight. You know, even though I think Whyte and Ortiz be a very good fight, it just doesn't do nothing. Like it's, I know, like I know that's a good fight. I know that's a hell of a fight, but I want to see. I don't know why I want to see Pulev and Whyte. I don't know why, but I want to see it. You know, I do not know why I want to see that fight, but I want to see that bad. But I am like crazy for Plant and Fielding. You know, a lot of people. Caleb Plant was, you know, pretty hot for a quick minute out here on the U.S. YouTube channels. You know, he started off with some nice knockouts, crafty guy, but as he was taking the competition up, his knockouts came down. You know, and he started living up to his name, Sweet Hands. You know, the dude is called Caleb Sweet Hands Plant, not Caleb Knockout Plant. The dude is Sweet Hands. The dude can box. You know, he does all the movement. You know, you see the little Mayweather gym ish in his game. You know, the body jab. You know, the semi shoulder roll, the pull counters. You know, I think I think Caleb Plant is nice, and I don't think we've seen the best of him. That's the scary part. You know, so I haven't really seen him take a good shot. I've seen him get hit. I haven't seen him take a good shot. Now Rocky Fielding, he's to me, like I said, this show, the Double RT boxing show, did a last, like I said, we started coming up in May. We're gonna be 1 year. So please, all you new viewers, you see we're at 310. You join. Let's take these subscribers up to like 5,000. You know, 5,000, man. Let's get it up there. Let's go from 310 to 5,000. You know, let's get your show worldwide. No, let's show them this is a boxing show, not those other bullshit. There's some good ones out there. I'm not gonna lie. I watch a lot of them. I watch the same ones you do, but you know, this is, they don't talk boxing. They talk some subjects, but they don't talk boxing. You know, not like the Double RT boxing show with your host, Mr.A. So Rocky, like I said, I find out a lot of fighters with you, and I try to cover the rankings, the other names, so they don't be called bums when they get their opportunities. I try and like educate you as I educate myself on them. So we are together, and I learned Rocky Fielding during the pilot season. You know, and from what I seen, I could be a little off on this one, but from what I seen, his gas tank is so, but he seems more of a brute fighter. He's, you know, he will try and bully you with his long reach, his power. He tries to overwhelm you. You know, I don't see him much as a back foot fighter. I don't see him. I see him as a come forward and try and bully you. Even when he, like I said, and we've seen him take a good shot. Now, does he react to it? No. Callum Smith knocked his ass out. You know, even the little dude, John Ryder, I think that's that little guy. He was welling the shit on. Rocky Fielding. You know, and Rocky Fielding used his size and weight, you know, hold him down. So it's gonna be, can Caleb Plant handle that brute type force? Will he be able to slip the power of Rocky Fielding? I do believe Rocky Fielding will be the stronger, the harder hitter of the two. Now, the better boxer is Sweet Hands. So it's going to be, I think, a point victory versus a knockout victory. It's going to be real interesting. This is going to be the fight where Caleb Plant could take a shot. I think somewhere in this fight, Rocky Fielding is going to land one. He's going to land one. Now, it'd be interesting, can Caleb Plant neutralize all that with his boxing skills? And we've seen, as Caleb Plant is taking a step up, he starts to walk you down. You know, for the first like 5 to 7 rounds, he's boxing you. He's getting his points, but he starts picking you apart. Those body shots, those body stabs starts kicking in effect. and he will start walking you down. So it'd be interesting if Caleb Plant can walk. I want to say Rocky Fielding's the bigger man, the taller man, and the more sturdier frame, bigger man. So it'd be real interesting to see if Caleb Plant could turn the tides with his sweet hands, wear down Rocky Fielding, and become the forward fighter. Because I think Rocky Fielding in this fight is going to be the forward fighter. You know, I think he has a longer reach. It's like I said, it's going to be power shots of Rocky Fielding against the technique of Caleb Plant. That's a real interesting fight. So those are the 6 mandate fights. I thought we'd just, they caught my attention. I thought we'd talk about them a little bit right here on the Double RT Boxing. But like I said, which ones, we'll break them down, which ones I want to see, which ones got Mr. A's attention. We start from the bottom. Number 6. Which one? I go with Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia. That's whatever. Like I said, all these are good fights, though. I'm not saying none of these fights are shit fights. These are elite fights, I think. So number 6 on my attention list is Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia for the WBC belt. The vacant belt given by Keith Thurman. Number 5, I say Lara Hurd2. Even though that's my boy, that's my favorite fighter, I just don't see him. I want him to do it, but I don't see Lara winning that fight. There's some dogs. For you new viewers, just for a future update, I live in a very family-oriented complex next to an army base. So you will hear families with their dogs, kids. You'll hear a lot of army helicopters. So new viewers, future update right there. So number 6, Porter Garcia. Number 5, Hurd Lara 2. Number 4, we'll go with Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter Jr. That's a nice one. Number 3 is Dylan Whyte and Wilder. Number 2, I feel like I'm missing a fight here. My mind's going blank on me. But the main one I want to see is Caleb Plant and Rocky Fielding. I feel like I can't think of which one did I miss. Did I miss one here? But and number 3 is Dylan Whyte, whoever he chooses. And number 2, I want to see Dominic Breazeale and Deontay Wilder. I know a lot of people are shitting on that fight. I want to see that fight because I know Deontay Wilder has a hard-ass time when people are jabbing the shit out of him in his face. And Dominic Breazeale is a tall, lanky motherfucker. And he's going to jab the shit out of Wilder. And people think that's going to be an easy fight. Wilder is not going to knock the shit out of Breazeale. Now, if he does, great. Bomb squad, baby. I love, I'm rooting for my American champ. One day I go over a video for my top 5 fighters, but Wilder and Hurd are definitely in there. Like I said, but I think it's a very that's gonna be a growth fight for Wilder. Wilder is gonna grow in that fight because Breazeale is gonna like I said, Duhapis brung a pressure jab. Washington was more of a slow-paced jab. Spilker brung some pressure. And all those jabs was giving Wilder a problem. And Breazeale is a brute, bully, let's go fucking toe-to-toe type fighter with a jab. Real interesting. And he's known to take some shit, some hits. He took what? He took a beating from AJ for like 9 rounds. I think I think he went down like towards the end. I think he went down like in the 5th and towards the end of the fight. I'm not too sure of my memory, but he was taking some AJ shots. And if he still has that, and when he was fighting, when he fought Eagle, I can't pronounce that dude's name. His first eliminator, the guy who was trained by Joseph Parker's trainer. Those dudes were beating the hell out of each other. So Breazeale could take some shots. So he's going to take Wilder's hits. And he's going to keep coming. And how is Wilder going to, is Wilder going to punch himself out? And it's surprisingly just, hey, he's gassed out and Breazeale's going to start landing some shots on him. Like I said, he's going to need a body attack. So I'm real interested in seeing this as a growth fight for Wilder. I think Breazeale is going to bring something out of Wilder that we're not expecting. Now if he gets that body attack in there, that can help him out tremendously. And the #1 mandated fight that Mr.A is interested in right here on the RT Boxing Show, hopefully your new boxing show, Caleb Plant and Rocky Fielding, baby. God damn, I want to see that fight. I want to see that fight bad, man. I really, really do. I think those two, the winner, like I said, goes on against Caleb Plant. The loser is going to take a step back. So we'll see. Like Rocky Fielding, he has options, man. He has options. He's Eddie Hearn is trying to get him against Herberto Ramirez. He's trying to, I think, also trying to get him maybe a regular WBA regular against Tyrone Zug. So he has options, but going against WBO, the top rank, the Bob Arum belt, you could see Bob Arum's trying to slowly bring back Jesse Hart for that rematch. Jesse Hart's fighting he's fighting this weekend against somebody, I don't know. But like I said, Bob Arum does what he does. He builds his own fighters, keeps it in-house. So I don't see Rocky Fielding getting that WBO shot. Tyrone Zug, that's a possibility. That's a possibility big time. But him and Caleb Plant, I want to see that fight bad, man. I want to see that fight. So that is a nice 6-mandated fight rundown. Hopefully you are entertained. My loyal subscribers, my 310 of you, hopefully you're entertained. These episodes average about 20 to 30 watches. So hopefully let's try and get that 10 average thumb views. I think we're on a 3 thumb average. So we moved up from a 2 thumb average. Nice increase. But let's try and help your show out. Let's get some 10 thumb average, new viewers. Hope you become new subscribers. Hope you are entertained and you work towards getting your show a 10 thumb average. Thank you for your time and support. I am your host, Mr. A, the host of your show, the RT Boxing Show. See you on the next one.